Against the background of this row, India's National Investigative Agency has begun a crackdown on Khalistani terrorists. Investigative agencies have been ordered to cancel overseas citizens of India cards of these terrorists so that they cannot enter India. And apart from this, the government has also asked for confiscation of properties owned by the identified terrorists and their families in India as well. Okay, for more on this, we are now being joined by Mr. Phil Gurski from Ontario. He's a former CSIS senior terrorism analyst and the president of the Borealis Threat and Risk Consulting. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Gurski. So this situation seems to be escalating with each passing day. Can you tell us about the cooperation that Five Eyes countries have when it comes to situations like this? How likely was it that perhaps the Canadians got information from other allies?
Well, it's entirely possible. As you said in your introductory comments, the Five Eyes has been around since the end of the Second World War. It achieved its final, I guess, form in the 1950s. As you said, there are the five main Anglo partners. The way I like to describe the Five Eyes is it's kind of the gold standard of intelligence sharing in the world. A lot of very sensitive information is shared. A lot of these agencies work very closely together on a variety of projects. And I think it has stood the test of time that we agree to share information with each other, provided that information is protected. And by protected, what I mean is that it is not disclosed publicly that can affect sources or methods. Those are the two most important things you work in intelligence, is to ensure that the way you collect information and against whom you collect information is not known to the people that you are trying to target. And as a consequence, what the Prime Minister did was to essentially let the cat out of the bag, and that we had some kind of intelligence on the alleged participation of India in this act of violence on Canadian soil.
So, what would be the next step in something like this? Because relations between the two sides have really turned sour, and this escalated in a matter of days. From your experience, do you think that this is serious for future Canada-India relations?
It's potentially very serious because the Canadian government has alleged that a foreign power, i.e., India, either carried out or sponsored or took part in or had some kind of role in the murder of somebody on Canadian soil. So, of course, it's very, very serious. Canada and India have had relations for many, many years. Canada recognizes the role that India plays, not just in South Asia, but in other matters. It's going to be a very delicate dance going forward as to what happens on from Canada's perspective. Obviously, they want to see the perpetrators of this murder to be brought to justice. And if it, we'll have to talk to India and see if, in fact, India were involved or India has any information that can lead to evidence to be gathered to be used in a criminal trial here in Canada. Then we would expect India to provide that. But yeah, it is a very, very delicate time in our relations. Absolutely.
Okay, well, we'll be watching very closely. And thank you so much for staying with us and joining us, Mr. Phil Gurski, and for that analysis. I hope to speak to you again very soon.
Thank you for having me.